I am here with your RETV Sports Break. You can catch me here every Thursday, talking junk, spitting facts. Let's get started. So we are going to start this week off playing a little game called Who Said the Stupidest Thing in the Last 7 Days? Rounding off the big three in more than one way, Kyrie Irving finally, I want to say he was fired. He wasn't really fired, but here's what happened. The Nets have finally decided that, hey, you're either going to play all the time or you're not going to play at all. We're not going to do a part-time situation with you. It's too much back and forth. You can't play any home games. You can't. It's too much. It's not creating a good dynamic for the team. It's a no for us, dog. It's just a no, big dog. So again, as always, if you're living under a rock, what happened was Kyrie Irving is still unvaccinated. We will get into a reason in a second, but he's still unvaccinated. In New York, they have a mandate, as well as in some parts of California and in other states, that say unless you are vaccinated or have a negative test that you can show in the last 72-ish hours, you are not allowed to go. You can't come inside. You can't sit with us. You can't sit with us. So, with that being said, Kyrie Irving is not allowed to play the home games in Brooklyn. He's literally kind of not allowed to go anywhere in New York. He cannot go to certain games in California. So basically, he's going to miss half of the season playing because of his lack of vaccine. So again, the Nets are saying, it's going to be all or nothing. You cannot be a part-time player. So either get the vaccine or have a seat. And he's choosing to have a seat. Why is he choosing to have a seat? Well, this week it is reported that he has expressed that he is not against the vaccine, but against the mandates that are causing people to lose their jobs. So a lot of people are a little bit upset about this. And let me tell you my favorite tweet from this entire thing. Oh man, it is from one Chris Walder from Walder Sports. And he tweets, the guy who's upset that people are losing their jobs due to the vaccine mandate willingly loses his job because of the vaccine mandate. That'll show him. First of all, that's the most amazing tweet I've ever seen in my life. But it is true. You are claiming that you don't want to get the vaccine because other people are losing their jobs behind it, and you, for the most part, have lost your job, sir. You cannot work. They're not going to let you work. Kyrie lost me at Flat Earth, okay? There's nothing that man can say or do that will convince me that he's anything other than stupid, simple, and slow. There's literally just not. I'm not saying he's a bad person. He's a tremendous athlete, but Flat Earth, you lost me at Flat Earth. So literally, I'm already aware that everything you say is not going to make sense to somebody who, quite frankly, understands that the world is not flat. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And now you're going to lose all this money, sir, and who knows what else you're going to lose. And it's just not this hard. Listen, guys, listen. Let me tell you something. If you do not want to get the vaccine, that is completely your choice. That's literally not the argument that anyone is having. The problem with anti-vaxxers, for me, and in this opinion, is not that you don't want to get the vaccine. It's because you're letting TMZ and Facebook tell you why you're not getting the vaccine. I actually had a very interesting conversation with somebody that is very close to me. And what they expressed was, at this present second, they have no reason or will to leave their house. For any reason. They do not want to see people. They don't want to kick it with you, skate with you, none of it. So until they have to get the vaccine, they will not. I'm okay with that. Because what you're telling me is that you're not going to be out here breathing without a mask, coughing on people, in people's faces. That would continue to cause the spread of this virus. And that's quite frankly, the point. You don't want to wear the mask because a lot of, not all of, but a lot of the anti-vaxxers are also people that don't want to wear masks. So you don't want to wear the mask, and you don't want to do the thing that's going to keep you from wearing the mask. Pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. It's really not that hard of a concept, guys. It's really not. You know, the flu shot, we get the flu shot every year. So all of these anti-vaxxers that are like, oh, well, it doesn't stop the virus anyway, but we have to get flu shots every year. You're supposed to get a flu shot every year. Because the shot doesn't stop the flu, it lessens the effects of the flu on you and your body. It's like, listen, guys, again, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I have a communications degree. Communications. I'm actually very bad at math and science. But even I know that shots don't stop things. They decrease the amount of people that are going to be affected. They decrease said effects. It's just really not that hard of a concept. It's just not. It's not that hard of a concept, guys. Again, if you choose not to get it and you're not spitting rhetoric that you found on Facebook, Twitter, TMZ, or the Shade Room, okay. If you have actual science that doesn't tell you to insert some horse tranquilizer into your bloodstream, cool. But some of the things I have heard a grown adult say in the last 3 months, that they do not need to get the vaccine because they smoke weed. What? If you have a reason for not getting the vaccine, even if the reason just is you do not want to, that is okay. It really is. But Kyrie, you're not getting the vaccine because it affects how other people can or cannot work, and you're not gonna work behind that. Just, whew. My second favorite tweet from that is, this is both bull and insert explicative that starts with an SH. Like, that's the tweet. Because it's quite frankly both of those things. So, again, as the NBA season is upon us, we will continue to follow this story. But as of right now, and probably throughout the rest of the season, Kyrie Irving is looking like a bench. And I guess that's okay. Next up. John Gruden. Oh my goodness. You want to talk about email gate? All right, so for all you people living under a rock, here we go. John Gruden was, as of Monday, the former coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. But he had to step down because in true Hillary Clinton fashion, I guess that's not fair to say, but I said it. Some emails leaked where he had some misogynistic, homophobic, and racist remarks. And you know, he didn't want to be a distraction, sir. Sir, you know what you didn't want is for your private conversations to be leaked all over the internet via the New York Times. So, again, in synopsis, what John Gruden has been saying is basically that Roger Goodell, he was calling him all kind of homophobic slurs. And as somebody who equally hates Roger Goodell, my goodness, the things that he said about this man. He very, very homophobic slurs, called him all just, woo. There are things that he said that I cannot repeat on this show because I'm pretty sure my mother watches it. So it was nasty. It was very, very nasty. He also had some very misogynistic things to say about women referees in the NFL. He had some very homophobic things to say about openly gay NFL players. Where the gag is, there's an openly gay NFL player on his team or on his former team. And just all of the things that closeted, bigot, racist, homophobes say on a very regular basis. And it really brings me to a lot of situations that we've seen over really just the past year, but of course, like always, right? So you have Rachel Nichols and we have Sage Steele, who we are going to talk about in a second. But all of these things where people think that they are saying things in private and it's okay because you thought you were saying it in private. Even my man last year, the basketball guy who I keep forgetting his name, but he said something wild about those young girls that kneeled during the national anthem and, oh, my blood sugar was low. Like, what? No. All of those kind of people, this is why, like, Me Too exists and Black Lives Matter and those types of movements exist because of people like John and people like Rachel and people like probably the coworker that sits 3 cubicles down from you who say some wild things when they think nobody else is listening or can see it, and that the people that they are saying it to feel the same, because that's really what happens. These kinds of people say, write, tweet, whatever, these things because they believe that the person, people, place, or thing that they are saying it to feel the same, and that you feel like that is a safe space for you. So it's you guys, this week has been a lot. It's been a lot. So anyway, so he steps down because he's saying he doesn't want to be a distraction. But of course, whatever, dude, because you shouldn't have it. You shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said it. It's just like really plain and simple. And that was like a really BS way to say, I got caught. I'm a racist. And I don't want me being a racist and a bigot and a homophobe and a misogynist to distract everybody else. But also, again, as I mentioned, there is a player at present that plays for the Raiders who is openly gay. He is the first active NFL player to be openly gay right there on the team. I can only imagine what you have said about that man in a place that you thought was safe. I can only imagine the way that you may possibly have treated that man, knowing how you feel on the inside. So, there's going to be, he's lost his job. So, that's a pretty whatever kind of repercussion. He quit, I guess. So he wasn't technically fired, but it's going to be interesting to see because it is being reported that he sent these emails to someone within the Washington football team organization. So it's going to remain to be seen at this point what other repercussions come for recipients of said emails that did not say anything else, because a lot of these emails are from like 7 years ago or have happened over a 7-year time period. So again, developing story as always. And last but certainly, it hurts my heart to have to talk about this. Anybody who knows me or has talked to me for somewhere around 20 minutes will tell you that when I went to college, a historically Black college, might I add, I received a communications degree. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, and specifically what I would say was that I wanted to be Sage Steele. And boy, did that change last week. So again, in case you missed it, Sage Steele went on Jay Cutler's podcast, which was the first problem, and had so many wrong things to say. My goodness. Let me just give you direct quotes, okay? Let's just, it is so ghetto out here, guys. Okay, so the first problem was she was required to get the COVID vaccine as a mandate for her to keep her job, because Disney was like, nah, girl, if you want to work, you got to get the vaccine. So what she said about it was, I respect everyone's decision, I really do, but to mandate it is sick, it is scary in many ways, but I have a job that I love, and frankly, a job that I need. Well, girl, you didn't need it that bad, because then you also turned around in the same breath and said, it's not funny, but it's like, it's one of those cringy things that all you can do is laugh. But you turned around in the same, however long the podcast was, and said that you found it fascinating that President Barack Obama ticked off on the census that he was Black, considering, here comes the quote, his Black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. Girl, so many wrong things. So many wrong things. So the first thing I find fascinating, Sage, is that as a biracial individual yourself, what do you identify as? And I know the answer to that question. It's really rhetorical, because she refers to herself as a biracial or of mixed race. But baby, you look like a black woman with curly hair. So what I'm trying to figure out, first of all, what the first thing I'm trying to figure out is why this is even a discussion that you guys are having. Why does Barack Hussein Obama still have y'all so upset? He ain't been the president in 4 years. I'm so confused as to why we're talking about this. Why is this? Why? Also, why do you care? Why? Just why? Why? I don't get it. And I'm sure you weren't spitting all this. Why does he say he's black and all of these comments when he was the first black president? I'm sure you were just as elated as everybody else. And if you weren't, so what? Like, it's mind-boggling to me that this is even a conversation that you guys are having in the first place. But for you to bring up the fact that you don't feel like he's black because his one black parent wasn't around, that don't make him any less black. So if your black parent wasn't around, would you say that you were mixed race, or would you just say that you were white? What did you want him to say? What did you want him to say? Is mixed even a thing on the census? I don't, I'm a black woman. I push the button. I'm black. It is what it is. But why is that any concern of yours? Why? And then also, baby, you have mixed race children. So are you going to teach them to ignore that side of their lives? Like, I know that you consider yourself mixed race and your children are only like a quarter black now. I guess that's how that works. Punnett squares and things like that. Again, bad at science. But are you gonna raise your children as white or mixed race? And if you are gonna raise them as mixed race, do you understand that the rest of the world is going to look at them as black children if they understand that they have some black in them? Because that's basically how that works. Now, let me say, her children look lily white, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with it. But are you going to tell your lily white looking children to select mixed race on the census even though they look white? Do you understand that also Barack Obama looks black? And had nobody come out and told us that he had a white mother and grandmother, that we all just would have assumed that he was a flat out black man? I'm trying to understand. But guys, that's not even the last thing she said. Whew, hold on to your butts. Because the last and final thing she said, icing and cherry. She had a lot to say about young female journalists and how it is basically their responsibility to not be victims of sexual harassment. Let me say it again. Let me get square with you. It is, in Sage Still's opinion, female journalists' responsibility to make sure that they are not victims of sexual harassment. And how do you make sure of that, Steele? Well, let's see what she says. When you dress like that, this is a direct quote. When you dress like that, I'm not saying you deserve the gross comments, but you know what you're doing when you're putting that outfit on too. Guys, me, Taylor, have never heard in my life something so disgusting come out of a woman's mouth. That's probably not true, but as of right now, we're going to say that it is. Because for you, a female journalist, to say that it is anybody else's job except for the person who is sexually harassing said journalist, I like so many wrong things. So many wrong things. And in case you're still playing, she won. She won the game, right? Because how would you feel if you, as this young female journalist, having to go into these locker rooms and like, you guys, like, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. It just quite frankly is, because what you're saying is that you have to also be saying on the other end of that comment that women who are sexually assaulted and raped, what were you wearing? You know what you were doing when you put that outfit on. Girl, what? So many wrong things. Just it's like it's so many wrong things. It's just so many wrong things. And needless to say, she lost her job. And I have never felt that someone was so deserving of such a consequence ever. Mind you, these are all comments in the same podcast. Not you went in 3 different places and started saying some crazy stuff, but you went on this one media platform and said the wildest shit that I have ever heard on so many different levels. It is crazy. And ESPN, of course, they put out their statement. Everybody has their opinions and blah, 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 but we're not going to stand for this. So yeah, she lost her job basically. And it's like, girl, what? You just like to say it as a woman and then to also be a woman journalist. So you see, I don't have the words, right? You see, I do not have the words because you said that. You said that out your mouth. Yes, you did. Whew. So this was kind of heavy, guys. So let me end on what I have decided to call the Sports Break Bright Spot. Yes, that is the name of the segment. I am so very proud that we named it. And we are going to talk about everybody's favorite name, NASCAR driver, Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace became the first black driver to win the NASCAR Cup Series since 1963. Woo! Again, as always, if you're living under a rock, Bubba Wallace has had quite the year and a half finding a noose in his garage, and of course, just being a black NASCAR driver, comes with some problems. But he became the first black driver to win since 1963. Of course, the girls are mad because they're like, oh, we didn't even finish the race. It was raining, but also you just should have been better because rain or not, he was in the lead. You guys had to stop. It was called on account of rain. I know that's a baseball thing, but that's what happened. It was raining. They had to keep kind of starting and stopping the race. And by the time they were like, okay, we're just going to call it, time of death is this, he was the winner. And it's okay, girl. Try harder next time. So congratulations to Bubba. Just love that, that there's this representation in NASCAR. It's amazing. Good for you. And, wave at the haters, champagne showers, caviar dreams, all of the things. So that's it for me this week, guys. You can catch me here every Thursday, talking junk, spitting facts,